morning. I hope you're doing well. It's kind of a cloudy day here, and it's not the best day ever for me either. But yeah, let's talk EMF because it's really important. Electromagnetic fields and how they can damage mitochondria by triggering oxidative stress, increasing reactive oxygen species, ROS, and altering membrane potential, leading to decreased energy, ATP production. Chronic exposure might cause structural damage to the mitochondria and damage mitochondrial DNA, contributing to cellular dysfunction, fatigue, and potential metabolic issues. I mean, this is no joke. But the problem is, we are immensely exposed. It's not like we are a little bit exposed to it, we are immensely exposed to it. So, okay, aspects of EMS induced mitochondrial damage. Oxidative stress, EMF exposure, increasing ROS, as I said, and damages mitochondria, which are sensitive organelles that can break down. This often results in reduced antioxidant defenses, such as lower glutathione. If we do not have glutathione, we cannot detox properly. So therefore, we're gonna get filled with heavy metals and everything that we could possibly maybe get rid of, but because we lack glutathione, we can't, and so on. Reduce ATP production. EMF can impair the proton motive force within the mitochondria, leading to inefficient electron movement throughout the energy transport chain. This reduces cellular ATP production. Structural damage. It shows basically that EMF exposure can lead to swelling, changes in shape, and degeneration of mitochondrial cristae, triggering cell death, apoptosis. When damage reaches a critical level, the dysfunctional mitochondria can trigger apoptosis, programmed cell death, basically, leading to tissues atrophy, particularly in the nervous system. So I'm not surprised that we're having such a plague with people having nervous system problems at all. The role of calcium signaling, EMF, might impact voltage-gated calcium channels, BGCCS, causing an overload of calcium in the cell, which further damages mitochondria. So, what can you do? Reduce exposure, increasing distance from devices and limiting screen time, obvious, right? Antioxidant support, like, boosting cells foods basically that boost NRF2, like turmeric and green tea and all that kind of stuff. So, natural calcium channel blockers. They are natural calcium channel blockers because obviously the other ones would have so many side effects and it makes no sense at all. Some of them, for instance, would be lemongrass. Another really good one, it's cilantro. Another really good one as well would be celery. So that's why the craze of celery juice happens. But unless you have oxalate problems, this is going to be really helpful as well. So the mechanism is basically, taurine. Taurine is a really good one. Taurine really helps. So this is why I love Tatka, because it's going to help your gallbladder produce, bile and make all this bile bind the toxins and come out. But at the same time, the taurine in it is going to protect you from this EMF radiation, which is great. Grounding, walk barefoot in so you can recharge yourself. This is no joke. And if people makes fun of it without even knowing how the body actually works and how we are basically electric beings that need all this to function. So it's just a craze that people still denies this, right? That's how important it is. So yeah, be mindful of this and make sure that for instance, like chronically overstimulate voltage-gated calcium channels, BGCC in the brain. This looks like exotoxicity and neurological dysfunction throughout these are calcium channels throughout the body. Calcium flowing through these channels sends a signal to the mitochondria to produce more ATP, and production of ATP requires more electrons, so more electrons flow into the ETC. But if the ATP isn't needed on the other end, electrons begin to bottleneck and leak out into the cytosol, combining first with oxygen to form superperoxide and then with nitric oxide to form highly damaging peroxynitrates. When this happens, the mitochondrial membranes and the mitochondrial DNA are the first to get damaged initially. This results in decreased functionality due to lower ATP production. However, when the damage reaches a critical level, the mitochondria triggers apoptosis of the cell, leading to atrophy of the tissue involved. So this is how important this is. So remember, things you can do: celery juice, lemongrass, what else? I'm taurine, walk barefoot. Obviously, unplug all electronic devices, especially at night. Like, yeah, plug them off. If it happens that you are, you have neighbors too close or things like that, there are many products nowadays that you can use to block windows. I mean, we should not be living this way, but at the moment, this is the way it is. And protecting yourself is always going to be really clever, even though it in a way. So that, let's say, the more things that we do against nature, the more things we're going to have to do that are unnatural to try to protect ourselves. It doesn't make any sense. We are not the ones taking decisions. We know who they are. We could use things that are not damaging to humans, but they do. And so many on and on and on, and big pharma and all this. We know all this already. But even though it's not very natural, obviously the more natural the place you live in is, the less unnatural things you're gonna have to do to keep your health, right? So yeah, this is really important. So turning off the Wi-Fi at night and plugging electronic devices, and again, some natural calcium channel blockers like celery juice, lemongrass, taurine, may offer like symptomatic relief, but the whole point is that you try to avoid it as much as possible, or limit it, obviously, because we're not going to avoid it, but we can limit it and be conscious of the effects so we can be protected at least. No. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good day. And obviously, I'm not going to go into microwaves and all this. We all know that, right? But yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.